Hey, Xiomy here. So today I wanted to make a video where I pay homage to my favorite male characters of 2016. I already mentioned my favorite female characters of 2016 or my favorite heroines, but I just wanted to do a video where I dedicate it to my male characters because I just, I gotta give them props because I love a lot of characters that were in books. Now I was gonna mention this video to be my favorite heroes of 2016, but I did notice after making the list that a lot of them don't fall under the hero category. Some are anti-heroes because they are morally great characters, and also there were others that I just really loved how they were brought into the book, and I really did enjoy their character development. So that's why I'm gonna say like my favorite male characters of 2016. So without further ado, let's get into this list. So with that being said, the first character that I'm gonna mention is a prince, and he is from the Shadow Queen. His name is Leo. I really did love his sibling interaction with Lorelai, which is his sister, but I love the way that they treated each other. I mean, he was always very sweet and he always defended her so much, but I love that he would like make fun of her, but not in a bad way, like make fun of her as his sibling when they actually like interact really good with one another and they have like this good chemistry between one another. And I really did love that, the way that he made fun of her, but it wasn't like in a bad way. It was just something that was so funny, and he also made her laugh as to the way that he did like make fun of her. And I also thought that he was a very witty character, and I love when a character makes you laugh because it basically humanizes them, and it also makes you root for them because you just love how they are as an individual and how they were developed within the series. And I really did love that he was that kind of strong character that was always there for his sister. There is one thing that I do not agree with in this book as to what happened, but that's the only like thing that I can nitpick with, but I really did enjoy him as a character. The next two that I'm going to mention are from a book that I've already read 3 times. Yes, 3 times. Am I going to continue reading it? Yes, I am. And that is Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe. I really did love these two characters. I loved how Ari, he was this loner. I mean, he was a person that even though he had a lot of problems, he was a person that really did like to be alone. He did have issues with his identity, and what I loved about his parents were basically his parents helping him find out his identity within the world, and that's something that I really have to admire about his parents, and that's why I love this book like so much. But I really did love the interaction that he had with Dante, and I thought that Ari was such a brave and very loyal character, and even though he did have this difficulty with him and he was a loner, he saw something in Dante that not even he understood what it was until the near end. And I just loved how, like I mentioned, how brave he was as an individual, and how you see him struggling with all these things, but it makes him to be a real character. And also both of them are Mexican American, so I have to like shout out my Latino characters, but they were ones that were, to me, fleshed out really good because you got to see them having these flaws, and that makes them, to me, very relatable characters. And I also did love Dante. Dante was a very strong, was very bold character, and he was also very intelligent. And I also did love how he also like struggled with like his identity, but you didn't get to see it that much because we only get Aristotle's point of view in this book. And that was also something that I really did enjoy about these characters because you got to see them basically dealing with their problems. You got to see them how they had their flaws, but it makes them human, and that's something that I really did enjoy because obviously you know that you aren't the only one that's struggling through it, but you get to see them surpassing this. And actually that interaction with their family is one thing that I also really did love about these characters. And they're just, I would love to see Dante's point of view. I'm not gonna lie, that's something that I would love to see, but it was a very lovely introduction of these characters, and they just stole my heart. The next one that I'm gonna mention is one that really does pain me a little bit, but I'm gonna mention him a bit because I really did love when he was introduced, and he is Kale Westfall from the Throne of Glass series. I loved Kale Westfall since the moment he was introduced because he was this kind of brooding individual, and he was a very loyal individual, even though he did have those things that his loyalty was basically some of his flaws because he really didn't see the reality in certain things. But I did love him as a character. What I do not appreciate was basically how he was handled in other books, but I'm always gonna defend him no matter what. The next two characters that I'm gonna mention are from a series, and they are Thorn and also Wolf. I loved Thorn when he was introduced because you knew that he was going to be this witty individual, and he does have these crazy sometimes assumptions that he does, but he was a very enjoyable character because at times he also is brave and he's loyal to a fault. I mean, he was just such a lovely introduction. Another character that I really did love is Wolf. I love how Wolf is introduced basically like escaping from his past because he doesn't want to continue being basically a pawn in a war that he did not want to be a part of, and you get to see him struggling with that and also like re-entering in places where he really did not want to go, but he was loyal. He was very loyal to Scarlet, and as you continue to see him like further develop in this series, you get to see how much he really did love his family. That's something that I have to praise him for what he did, and I have to appreciate him as a character, because as the series transpires you get to know a lot more of him, and he is a character that at times I felt like so much sympathy for, especially when you dive into his history or you know his past. Was something that I really did enjoy reading about him, and I really did enjoy how loyal he was. The next character that I'm going to mention is from the Mistborn books, and I currently have the second one, but he is Kelsey. I really did love what Kelsey stood for. I loved how brave he was, even though he did go through a lot of crap in his life. I love that he did not stop smiling no matter what, because he always said that no matter how much oppression is served onto the Scott people, he is not going to stop smiling, and the Lord Ruler is not going to take that away from him. That's something that I have to appreciate within a character, what he stood for and what he continued to fight for. Now, he did have his issues and he did have certain flaws within a character, and he did have his problems, but I did love him as a character, and I loved how he further developed within the book, and he basically saw that some of the things that he was doing was wrong, and he basically like stopped being like a goofball of himself, even though you do get these instances where he is a goofball and you just enjoy some of the things that come out of his mouth. But I love that he grew as a character, and what he did was something that like blew my mind, but I enjoyed him so much as a character, and he honestly stole my heart, and he just changed my way of visualizing certain characters and actually like what they stand for. And he's a character that I have to admit that he was very beautiful when he was introduced, and I fell in love with everything that he basically did. Now, this is why I couldn't say that these are like my favorite heroes of 2016, because I have two characters that I really did love from like one of my all-time right now favorite series, and both of them are from the Six of Crows duology. The first one that I'm going to mention is Jesper. Jesper, I loved him so much because he was such a witty individual, and even though he did have certain issues when he was younger, certain things that happened to him in his life, he was a little bit different from the rest of them, even though he did have this internal struggle with himself and some of the things that he actually did do. I loved him as a character because when someone is introduced in Crooked Kingdoms, you get to see this different side of him, and it's a side that I really did enjoy, and I love Jesper. I mean, like I mentioned, I love it when a character makes you laugh, and he was just such a witty individual, and I love the certain things when he used to say, especially when he would try to defend Willen. When Willen would say something that was like completely stupid, he would be like, oh bless his soul. And it was something that made you laugh, but he was just an enjoyable character to actually like introduce, and how different of a character he was. He was just a marvelous introduction in this series, and I honestly think that he not being introduced would have been something that was lacking in this book, because I thought that he brought like so much, can I say like finesse, or can I say like a lot of spunk to the book, and it's something that I really have to appreciate from him as an individual. The next one that I'm going to mention is Cas Brecker. I loved how much of an anti-hero this character was, and how he has his morally gray spots, and some of the things that he does utter in Crooked Kingdoms, and I'm like, what did you just say? I loved his internal struggle. You get to see him fighting with his demons, but you get to see how much of a criminal mastermind this man is, and how many mind games he actually plays on the people that did hurt him in his past. And it's something that even though I sometimes say it's wrong for you to have like vengeance in your hands, it's something that I have to say that I appreciated from him as a character, because you got to see him in so many different lights, in so many different ways, and even though he struggled with his demons, he tried to suppress that, and something that I really have to enjoy from him as a character. And how smart the man is, honestly, and how sometimes he was this kind of philosophical criminal, can I say. You get to see him more like philosophically, but you get to see him more like that in Crooked Kingdoms, which is something that I enjoyed from his character, and just, you know, getting to see him and getting to know him a little bit more. But I would love like more from Cas Brecker, because he was a character that I have to admit that I enjoyed, and that took me by surprise, because I really do not like criminal characters, but I really did appreciate him and everything that he fought for, and what he wanted to basically achieve was something that I have to praise him as a character. But those are all my favorite male characters of 2016. If you want to tell me which were your favorite male characters, if you have any, of 2016, then feel free and let me know down below. If you hear any noises, I apologize, but those are the neighbors, and I really needed to film this video. But I just want to thank you for watching, and until next time, peace.